high, or at least that's how I would put it. The way I kind of felt was that it's like a convenience store that has an apartment on top, if you're familiar with those in cities. But and the artifact itself is massive. It's almost the size of a human body in height, but much wider. So it looks like a fat boy nuke from like World War II.
Um, the
Like a
the
Stonehenge.
one of the things that is rather obvious from almost all pictures you see on them is that they have this, well, almost a tattoo of the. Oh, I can't remember the name of the nebula. What's it called?
Merope?
No. There's a specific fairly large. Uh, it's in the same direction as the Widget Nebula.
Bernard's Loop.
Yeah, it looks like it has a tattoo of that.
Well, it's funny
Uh,
to think about a Bernard's Loop. If you look at on the map, there's about 3 or 4 nebula. If you line them up perfectly, they look exactly like a human eye. Not really a human eye, but an eye.
Interesting.
I don't know if you've tried to do that on the map.
no.
That will get you, man. Like seriously, you. It's actually quite artistic if you line it up in a certain way.
Okay, which
Actually,
are these? Because I'm going to have to check this right now.
Can you which where
Like the freaking
what's
Witchhead Nebula and Orion's belt there, the Orion's part. Just zoom out towards like the core a bit and just kind of try to line them all up on top of each other. You'll see what I'm talking about.
yeah, what I mean is what I would like is can you tell us a system that we can search for, jump to that part of
I'm
the
not
galaxy
honestly.
map,
I'm
then
not in the
return?
game right now.
Ah, fair enough.
I'm the only Xbox person here, so.
Fair enough. But I was the reason I'm
Fair
asking
enough.
is I'm fucking sold. I want to see that.
I mean, these you're looking at like stoner wet dreams when you're bored. I mean, the map's got some weird stuff on it. It really does. I've actually sent some guys out to a few points that were just pretty odd because they wanted to do something they were bored.
Did you guys see the contrast raised and the gamma messed with on the JPEG that was posted of the galaxy map? And you can see artifacts almost of kind of not UAs, but I mean like digital artifacts where sections of the galaxy had been reused and stuff like that. I don't have a link to it now, but people were questioning, are these little patterns that we're seeing repeating part of the structure of the generation system or the random number generator that generates these systems? In other words, all of these look uniform, and then there's one that's out of place. Is that a hand-placed one?
Yeah, that's the question. It's a difficult one to answer as well because we don't exactly know how it's pulling these things up.
What about the roguely evolved humanity that's out there somewhere? You know that's out there.
Yeah,
There's
the
humanity somewhere
lost
else.
colonies or something.
Yeah, there's a lot more little hints than that. It's funny in the previous games. A lot of times they used to say Thargoid ships were often accompanied by like small human ships, and there was that talk outside of the Maya about the weird Diamondback Scout.
Well,
Yeah,
the Diamondback Scout that could possibly just be an engineered one.
it's possible, actually, now that you mention it. I was kind of under the impression that uh, perhaps the reason why the UAs were scanning ships was because they were sort of evaluating our military strength or copying these ships. So, I mean, if it
Yeah,
was a race that was coming to attack us, they would have a database on
it
all
was
of the
collecting
ships
data.
and
Everything
all the
that was coming
regions.
by it, was scanning it, pretty much.
The other hypothesis that I was talking about, and I don't know if anybody else picked up on this, was that if this thing is a scanner, is it possible that when it's in your cargo hold and you hit the right nebula or star system or planet, that scanner would trigger something in your ship, like opening a door or indicating some sort of anomaly?
Yeah, I was thinking that too a while ago.
I
I
like that
honestly
idea.
I don't think they have that stuff in the game yet. I think they've just fed it to people's minds that it's gonna happen at some point, something like that. But trying to
Yeah,
figure it out now would be kind of rather pointless.
But
yeah.
another thing,
I think
my thinking about Thargoids is also once they introduce what then? Because that is something where people will want a conclusion. So if we win, great. Then who fucking cares what happens next?
Well, why is it
There-
assumed
There's
that
no
it's going
next
to be
big
a
event.
conflict that's a short thing that's either a win or loss thing? Why can't it be a
Well,
prolonged interaction?
I think
well,
there's going to be some kind of collective that that another form of humanity is somewhat part of, and they are going to eventually try to assimilate, if you will. I think that's my prediction at least.
but also keep in mind that the last time humanity had a run-in with the Thargoids, that was a small scouting party, and we almost had our collective asses whipped.
Yeah, but
That would be
that was
basically
the same
akin
thing that
to,
happened with the Borg, and then look what happened.
yeah, not quite. But I mean, that's basically akin to saying, yeah, okay, what's his name landed on the islands and immediately conquered the entire North and South America. It didn't happen that quickly, but that's basically what happened with the Thargoids.
Is it though? I mean, they've already said that not all of the past history of the Thargoids is necessarily lore here. I mean, you have to look at it from a storytelling perspective, that when they told the story in the other games, they weren't exactly expecting to leave it completely open-ended and not at all completed, knowing there was going to be another game. They had to have some level of storyline completion, or at least a full act, as it were.
Yeah, I find that perhaps the reason that they redacted some of the lore is because they almost ended it too closed off to allow for certain things. Like, I don't know how much is going to turn out to not be lore, and frankly, for me, it doesn't matter. I never played any of the previous games, in fact, but the one thing, the problem that I have with the way that they do this is they don't have a clear communication channel that's scattered between Galnet and news stories and the forum and there's Discord and there's a lot of good conversation going on, but there's no sanctioned lore channel in a way. I don't know what the solution is to that, but it's like, I mean, does everybody read the news when you get to a new station? I never do.
Well,
Well,
no,
that's
because 90% of it is just
well, that's
it's just random generated
garbage. Yeah, that's
PGS fluff. Yeah.
I was saying that earlier, that it would be good if they made, well, I mean, the randomly generated content to some extent for new players is interesting because it tells a story of how the BGS is going, but it does drown out the actual content, the player created content. And as we said earlier, if you could have a way to distinguish it and subscribe to it so you didn't actually have to go to the station. I mean, you can do that right now.
Nice.
You can subscribe to foreign newspapers even if they're not global.
Steve.
What?
Well, the problem with the lower retcon is that they haven't filled the gaps that actually concern us either.
Well, they kind of lied to us. Well, they let us lie to ourselves about how the Alliance had dealings with the Thargoids.
Well,
No,
it's not their fault.
That's not the problem. I'm okay with not having connections, but we didn't have ships because supposedly the NRA destroyed the shipyards in Alioth as revenge for helping the Thargoids. Well, we didn't help the Thargoids now, so
There we go.
where are our shipyards?
Steve, try 943.
So why would longer routes be easier to plot than shorter ones?
It's not about it being longer or shorter. It's that you're running an A-star search, and you want to limit the number of steps at the very end of it. And that means as you're getting closer to
I
the
see.
galaxy,
You want it to be an integer. Yeah, okay.
yeah, so you want to get something that is as close to jump or distance mod jump range that has to get as close to zero as at all possible.
Okay.
By the way, did you get my point about trying to add links to the description?
Description. Where is this description?
Well, when I'm
Oh,
looking
the
at
it's empty here. I see. Can you edit
yeah,
that? I made you a mod.
I have no idea how.
Well, what am I supposed to do? I'm playing this game.
That's
Ha
what I know.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Discord. I'm gonna. Okay, let's see. Add image. No, this is add image. Add image links. Let's try it now. Oh, who knows? Whoopsies. No, that's not what I want.
How many of you guys read
I don't know.
the Jax news that was posted on Reddit?
Jack's News?
Jack Station
Uh,
news.
yeah.
Yeah, I've read that stuff. Yep.
What do you
I
think
read
of that stuff? For those who haven't
Well,
read it,
I think it
basically
was
the
UA
idea
bombed.
is he
I don't
got
think-
like UA bombed or whatever, which means he had a whole bunch of UAs on his ship, and then they pulled him out of witch space, and there was singing involved, and there was like time warp and distortion involved, and now it's all kind of been redacted. It's kind of like, oh no, in his latest Galnet thing, he's like, oh no, everything's fine, just a routine crash landing, no big deal. So that's the controversy. But anyways, what do you guys think of that?
Oh, I love some good dropping.
Hello,
I don't
Crack.
think he's leaving.
Cracksh.
I think that,
Welcome
I
to the
think
game.
that's very good.
Hey,
Hello. Cracksh
Hey, guys.
is looking for community, so here's a community.
can you hear me? I never
Yep.
got this voice com before.
Yeah,
Yes, we can
it's
hear you.
this
Loud
voice
and
comm
clear.
is used by a lot of the Elite Dangerous community, so it's good to
Yeah.
have.
Cool.
Well, welcome. So to clarify, we're most of us are with the Alliance. Specifically, the streamer, myself, is with the Alliance Office of Statistics, which is a player group within the Alliance, and we do all kinds of stuff, including apparently buckyball running. But we do a lot of organized gameplay and just help new players, experience through the game.
Yeah, sounds cool. I've been playing a little bit earlier, like before they released the Horizons, but since then I haven't played, so I'm very new.
Well, that's fine. But right now we have also guests from Canon, who are research scientists at Pox Prime, and we have guests from
Alright.
some of the other Alliance groups, ADC, AID, and Null, and
TCF?
Sapcore, TCF. Yep. There are a lot of different Alliance player groups, but we're all friendly.
Nice to meet you.
No, we're not all friends with each other.
Well, okay, sorry. We're all friendly with each other. Not everyone within each group is friendly. Some of them are mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of us are right cunts.
Yeah, especially.
it's
well,
John.
As far as Jack's station is concerned, I think they're trying to rerun the original plot because in the original it was the feds who pulled the Thargoids out, wasn't it? Right? It wasn't them that invaded us; it was the feds that attacked them and they retaliated.
By the way, Post, you're mouse debating again.
Oh yeah.
There is that Farragut that's like sitting up over top of the barnacles.
The great thing about Discord or voice comms in general is that I really do feel like I'm out in space and you guys are like other commanders that are on radio, like trucking style.
Well, if there's anything Mahone people are good at, it's trucking.
Well, it's good. It's good to have some conversation for this journey. Like I'm 5 days out here, and it's been pretty much a routine jump. Not a soul in sight, nothing in sight but the next station, or the next jump.
Oh, not much of a difference then. Steven doesn't have a Solera.
No escort, huh?
By the way, Stephen, you need to make someone an editor, not a mod.
Aha. Well, I'll do that next time I can alt-tab while I'm playing this game.
Yep.
I will make you an editor. Give me a second.
Google to the rescue.
Okay, let's see. So I go